What's everybody? Welcome back to the Grand Torino. Before we get started, and before I introduce my next guest on the Grand Torino, I wanted to, if you're new to the show, don't forget, press the like button, press the subscription button, and the little bell, and you'll be reminded of future broadcasts here on the Grand Torino. Not going to talk about what's going on here in Dublin, Ireland at the moment. As to say, I'm delighted just to get a broadcast out to you. So I wanted to draw to your attention, and first of all, let me bring in Daddy Dragon, Graham Moore. Graham, how are you, sir?
I am very well, thank you. All the more pleased to see you this morning.
And you, sir. You've got number 45 over there with you at the moment. At the last dinner, it's President Trump visiting. Huge coming together for him. And that's not being shown on the mainstream media over there, but I believe he was warmly greeted as well.
He was warmly greeted again. There's a video last year of when he went to Windsor. With how much respect people in this country have got for him. The mainstream media, yet again, the propaganda machine, the fake news, are showing the negatives rather than the positives, and the positives is much greater than the negatives. It's the illusion that they're creating.
Yeah, and they've also got the baby blimp out. They're going to float out there from again. He should just embrace it. I love balloons, I love babies. I love baby balloons, just own it. So look, let's get to the meat and bones of what we're here today for. Fill me in on what's going on, what you're involved with pertaining to Brexit, and that they're just stalling. Right,
so just as a quick brief, I'll change this background so everyone can understand exactly what's going on with this case. And that is, literally, let me see if I can raise this out of the way. We have got a solicitor called Robin Tilbrook, who, let me just go that way, is Robin Tilbrook. And then what we've got is a situation that Robin warned the government that what they was doing was illegal, against our constitution, and he did that prior to March the 29th, the deadline, basically.
Yeah.
He's put the case forward. He's got two exceptionally good, and this is a bit that will make some people laugh. The first one is a barrister called Francis Hoare. These are all barristers that are connected to Lawyers for Britain in some way. But Francis Hoare was the person or the barrister that got a commendation from the judge when he took a trial to court, and this is relevant to what's going on now, and it was an Islamic mayor of Tower Hamlets who had basically defrauded the electorate, and it was electoral fraud. Someone approached him and said, look, we need help with this because of what's gone on, and he single-handedly run that case for 6 weeks in the High Court, called 100 witnesses, and successfully got the mayor deselected, his election made void, and then there was a prosecution after that.
So the man's got marbles and he's got a track record, right? So what is he working on there with you guys? Let's get...
Right, so he is working on this case, and the case is the Brexit leave case. The case is before the Royal Courts of Justice at the moment for judicial review to look at the fact that it was unlawful and that we actually left. So what we've asked the Royal Courts of Justice for is a declaration that the United Kingdom left the European Union on the 29th of March 2019 at 11 p.m. Now, a number of barristers, a senior law court retired judge have all said we believe that this is correct.
This is the law.
We did leave.
This is the law. They have to comply with the law.
Right, so part of that case is one of the rulings from someone called Lord Denning. Now, Lord Denning, now sadly deceased, actually said in one of his rulings, he reversed the ruling of an earlier court or a lower court that said that if we had found for the plaintiff in this case, for example, then chaos would ensue. When it got to Lord Denning, he said in his judgment, I'm finding for the plaintiff, and even if chaos ensues, the law must be obeyed, right? So it's the law that's important here, not the politics. The rule of law and the Constitution are above politics. So the case is there. There is a complete and utter media blockade.
Yep, I'm aware of that.
And the massive media blockade is because it is a Remainer propaganda machine that we're up against. And that's one of the purposes of doing these videos, to show people, listen, we've got a nailed-on case. We left on the 29th, and the media are collaborating with the European Union, with the communists, whatever you want to describe them as, to make it that you don't understand. But the importance of this case is simple. The European Union notification, the Withdrawal Act of 2017, repealed the European Communities Act of 1972, which give them power over us. The reason why they're in a panic to get another referendum, which will be the third referendum, not the second.
And I'll draw my viewers and my subscribers and those here. How many referendums have we had in the last 2-3 years? You obviously know, attack after attack, the Children's Act, the marriage right, the divorce, now the abortion. What's next? They just keep pilling away at our inalienable rights, and people are sleepwalking. Go ahead.
Exactly that. So the situation is, and I want people to understand the simplest way of understanding this. Imagine there's a front door, you've got a normal key latch, and you've got a bolt, and that bolt is locking that door. The European Communities Act of 1972 was constitutionally locked in. And that constitutional lock was taken off by the referendum on the 23rd of June 2016. And that act behind me was the one got elevated to the position of constitutional status.
Yeah.
That's what they're panicking about, because they know we've left, it's gone, it's over. They would now have to have another referendum telling people the truth about the European Union, its roots, whether it's Nazi or communism. They know that they're not. We've got it. We're not going back in, and that's their panic, and that's why there is a media blockade.
So you're in the processes of doing it. How confident are you of it actually getting to the highest level of jurisprudence before they can actually deliver a verdict? We can see, are they just going to, the powers be just going to snowball and extract it and just keep dragging it out? Just the last couple of minutes here, Graham.
Very confident, because, I mean, just to give you an example, if I can briefly share this document, which is on there at the moment. Hopefully this is going to come up.
Yeah.
This is by a very, 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 very competent Queen's Counsel. 40 years at the bar as a QC and 20 years as a standard barrister. Now, what he has said in this written article and legal opinion, I'm just going to read this out to you. His conclusions are, stating the outcome shortly, it would seem to follow as the application by the Prime Minister for an extension of time until June the 30th under the proviso of the Article 50 made on about the 14th of March was legally valid but rejected by the EU, right? Now, what he goes on to say is, whichever way one looks at it, an agreement was either unlawful or made for an unlawful purpose or ultra-vires. That means that UK left the EU on the 29th of March 2019 by default, and there was no valid or lawful impediment to prevent it.
Brilliant.
Right? So it's not just the QC saying this. Judges have said it as well and written the same thing. But again, I want you to see these last two paragraphs. Recently, the EU has imposed a further extension of time on the UK until the 31st of October 2019. This imposition cannot be supported by the terms of Article 50, which seems to have been ignored.
Yeah.
It is an example of the willingness and of the relevant parties to agree extensions of time without limitations, no doubt based on the notes issued by the civil service.
Oh yes, the powers that be. We've got the similar situation, yeah.
Now,